Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box for the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Tuesday, the 19th of September. These are the charts of the day. Well, it was a kind of a mixed session on Wall Street. Positive at the end, though, and closing to the highs, going away. I'm going to focus today on showing you the charts of the day that had some activity that that I like, that I think has some potential, and that or did well today for us in days in swing trades. AVAV is a stock I've been following for a while, and Lord knows why I didn't put a swing on it. This stock broke out of a double top base. This base was the breakout there. The pullback there would have been a great opportunity, especially when you see that kind of a falling pattern, and even this little falling wedge in here. Then it popped and formed a flag, then it had a breakaway gap, ran up and formed another one on the coil, and today you can see it popped to 51.70 before finishing up 222 at 51.35. That was a 4.5% pop. It looks to me like there's a possibility we're going to see mid-50s, maybe 56.7, and then low 60s. That's my target. A tight stop would be warranted under, say, 48. Epizyme. Well, looking back and looking at this on a longer-term time frame, a massive base is formed. It looks to me like at this point, coming out of a wedge-type pattern and exploding to resistance, triple top there, and then pulling back to test of 50 with a big reversal day, and then a run-up for 4 days. It looks to me like that's a breakout day today. That targets are 21 short-term, 28.30 longer-term, 14.6 days to cover. Keep an eye on this one as it's a fresh breakout, and it could quickly run some. EROS has been riding up the ladder. Look at this strong run from 660 to 1650. About 10 points in the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Really sharp angle of ascent, very difficult to maintain for much longer. But momentum's a funny thing. This one may very well get up in that 18, 19, 20 zone before it's over, so keep an eye on this for a short-term move. Up almost 10% today on 1,000,009. Good volume. There are 12.76 days to cover on this baby. Up next is Fold Amicus Therapeutics. Now, as you know, after basing for quite a while and finally breaking out with this breakaway gap, the pullback tested the 50. It then ran up, made nominal new highs, and formed some sort of coiling-type pattern. Now, today it popped about only 29 cents or 2%, but I think it's about to explode out of here. So I need you to watch this one for tomorrow and the day after. And sometime the next day or two, it feels like it's going to pop and run. First to 15, eventually 17, 18 zone. 11.8 days to cover. Big day for Glycomed, popping 69 cents or 5%, nearly a million traded. Now, not enough volume for me, but yesterday's pop and today's follow-through indicate the possibility we're going higher. I'm looking for a move to test a spike high from May, when it reached around Memorial Day, 60.94. Since then, it's been consolidating. Here it popped, had a falling wedge, and now it popped again. It's been up for 5 days in a row. It looks to me like it's going to run in 17 and then 19 and a half, something like that. 9.37 days to cover. How about that HMNY today? What a nice trade that was. Look at the 1 minute chart. Popped, coiled, flagged, and then ran a 5-wave right there, spike up. Came down, held support. Looks like support right now is about the 550 range. And after hours, it reached near $6. So up another 22 cents after hours. If it does go 6.5 and 7.25, my target's going forward. As you can see, there's a line of resistance up around 7.25. Kopin, big day, 2.1 million shares. The second biggest volume on Kopin going back a couple years. To me, that's extraordinary, but exactly what I was looking for. The breakout across this line yesterday, and the follow-through today is significant with increasing volume. Look for 475 tomorrow. And if we get any kind of run in the next day or two, we could see 5.25. And it may need to pull back and rest. Key support now, 425.30. If you backs and fills in this area, it's a buy for a move up to 5.25 and then 6.5. 10.4 days to cover. The shorts are screwed on this one. MLCO. This gaming stock had a nice 1-2 and then a 3-4. It looks like wave 5 has started. Could lead to 27.28. That's my target. 28 probably is a good swing. Watch the current resistance right here from the June highs, around 23.90, 23.95. It closed right there. If we gap or run tomorrow, we could very well get into the 25.6 range. MYOK. Well, the explosive move it had in August on positive jug news then has filtered up into a rising channel. So for me, I would not be surprised if this extended and eventually tagged near term 55. OLED swing trade is moving. Nice pop yesterday, and today, and it was on the charts of the day yesterday. Today it popped up to 145.30 before backing off 3 points. It was still up 550 or 4%. I think this looks like a $175 stock going forward. 4.2 days to cover. And ONCE, our swing trade from back in here, doing very well. Watch this one for move across 86.86. Today high was 86.20. If we get through that, look for mid-channel around 94.5. Right about there. And eventually, I'd be looking for this one to make it up near the 110 range plus. 6.83 days to cover. Well, SQM has been running wild. Just since the beginning of July when it's trading at 33, it has now nearly doubled. Look at the volume in the last 7 or 8 days, it's straight up. So it's a little long in the tooth, I wanted to show you that. But in a long-term time frame, we're also up against multiple tops here as well. So this is something to be watched carefully, because if we break through the 68 range, and that's still a ways away, this stock could very well explode even further, but it's long in the tooth and overbought. Trade desk, put a swing on it after it popped out and then pulled back for a few days, consolidated a flag. Today moved back up, $1.63. Not a lot, less than 3%, but nevertheless, if we can get it over 63, I think the stock is headed for 70 and then 75, 70, 77 range. Good looking chart. 3.6 days to cover. And how about that very? Talk about being very good. Literally from 8 to 50 or 49. So we're looking about, a five-fold increase in such a quick period of time. So be very careful. And with today's volume, it may be blow-off time. So I'll be careful. Look, if it runs tomorrow again, and if it breaks out of this and goes to the double top, look for something in the low to mid 50s, but I would be very careful with this one. And I would also have a drop dead stop on the 42. A near-term stop, if it goes up tomorrow, immediately put a stop in on the 45, 5.5. Anything below that could get ugly. Veronis, one of our old swings, is working. There's the big breakout there. The pullback, consolidation, slow move up, another pullback retest, and then finally today a breakout. Up $1.60 at 4%. Volume is picking up. To me, it's a $44, $45 stock going forward, followed by $49.50. Gaming stocks doing great. I showed you MLCO. Now Win. Broke out of a flag today. Pretty sure we're headed towards 155.60. Maybe very quickly. 3 days to cover on that. And Zogenix, after coming down for a week, snapped back. But I need this to get above 15.10 or so. If it does that, it can start to run. If it doesn't, and just keep an eye on today's low, because the double bottom around 13.60 would be your stopping point, potentially. If you want to give yourself a little more leeway, it would be 13. But something in that 13 and a half zone, we don't want to see it below that. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.